Today at the show, we have Benz's Patent-Wagen, the first car, the one that was launched in 1886. What's it like to drive? We're going to find out. Stick around. Alright, at the outset, let me tell you this isn't the real thing. Built by UMS Technologies in Coimbatore, this near-perfect replica, however, is as close as you can get to the original. It's so close, in fact, Mercedes have something similar in their own museum in Stuttgart. The first thing that you notice when you walk up to this car is that there aren't too many familiar bits. Yes, the chassis is built out of steel tubing, and the rear suspension is by leaf springs, like the Mahindra Bolero. There are, however, bits you just don't recognize. A strip of leather that pulls itself around the drum actually works as the brakes, and the single-cylinder engine faces forward. No modern car can, however, compete with one thing. It has 44-inch wheels. Now, the Benz Patent-Wagen works on the same principle as petrol cars do today. It's called the four-stroke cycle or the auto cycle, which is where the name automobile comes from and which is where auto car comes from. This engine is a single-cylinder 900cc motor. That's the piston. That's the sleeve for the piston. That exposed with there is the crankshaft. This here it does the job of cooling the engine. There's water in here. This is the carburetor. This huge thing here is the carburetor. And this tube here with the holes, that's like an emulsion tube. When you push the throttle, it supplies more fuel to the cylinder, and more fuel and more air means more power. So that's basically how it works. Not very, very different from what we have today. There's no starter or starting handle. To fire it up, you have to spin the flywheel, and eventually, after a few tugs, the 1 horsepower engine fires. Idle is slow, and because it's a single cylinder, you can hear every power stroke. And unlike a modern car, it has a soft, friendly puff that for all practical purposes could be coming from a giant tea kettle. So normally in a car, you have a steering wheel, and that helps you via a rack to point the wheels. But this is a simple cycle wheel. So all you do is you point this tiller in the direction you want to go, and the Patent-Wagen goes in that direction. Direct steering, yeah, I'll say it has a direct steering. Now, a leaf spring suspension is not normally associated with a good ride, but here, surprisingly, we aren't feeling too many of the bumps. It isn't that bad. As you can see, we aren't being jostled around, and that's pretty amazing. So it steers well and even rides well. But what's the power like? And can it go up slopes with just 1 horsepower? Now, it is a 900cc cylinder, but there's barely enough power to even pull up a slope like this, a gentle slope. What I'm doing right now is concentrating on getting it up this gentle slope. So I'm zigzagging a bit, and I'm sure that's something Benz must have done himself. So I can't imagine what this must have looked like in 1886. The carriage propelling itself, this odd put sound coming. People must have just gone bonkers. And no wonder it scared people. What a colossus Carl Benz's Patent-Wagen must have been back in 1886. Fundamentally different from everything else around at the time, it established that the motor car or auto car was workable, practical, and here to stay. This was a machine that changed the world, right up there with the discovery of fire, agriculture, the first aircraft, and modern-day computing. In terms of automotive anthropology, this is Adam. What a privilege and honor it's been.
Hello and welcome to Auto Car Confidential. Now this week we have news of yet another sub-4 meter SUV. In fact, it's yet another sub-4 meter SUV from Mahindra & Mahindra. Yes, M&M is going to launch a sub-4 meter Bolero. That's right, the Bolero this time has been given the chop and it's going to be under 4 meters, but where does it fit with all the others. You've got the TUV 300, you've got the Nuvo Sport. Well, this one is going to get a lower powered engine, around 80 HP, and the focus is going to be on fuel economy. And Mahindra hopes that this is going to expand the market. They've got a lot of faith in the sub 4 meter SUV segment, as we can see. So let's see how it does when it's launched sometime next month. Well, that's it from me in Confidential, but stay tuned to the Autocar Show.